Welcome back, rankers. Funny thing happened last week. After I'd done the show, Google sent out an email to everybody saying, hey, guess what? You've got a Google profile and now you've got Google Authorship. Congratulations. About 18 months after I got it. Thanks, Google. Apparently I wasn't alone and sent it out to everybody. Now, why? Well, they've added a little thing in Google Webmaster Tools, which I'll show you in a second. But, we've got Sunil J, also known as Means Blue on Twitter. He has come out and said that, hey, did you see that? Pretty cool, huh? Yeah, it is, except mine's broken. I don't know about yours, but we'll have a look at yours in a second, hopefully, or you can tell me about yours. I can't have a look at yours. But pretty interesting, because last week I was talking about how authorship is so important. Again, I've been talking about it for a long time. We had PubCon talk about how authorship is so important. It could be, the thing that eventually not, say, replaces backlinking, but is certainly far more important than it currently is based on the content that you create and the other content creators that link to your content or publish it. Very important. Go watch last week's show. So we're going to have a look at Google Webmaster Tools. So you can see here, this is just stuartmedia.biz in Webmaster Tools. And under Labs, we've got this little great thing called Author Stats, similar to, say, your +1 reports under your traffic section. This is still under Labs. Now, in fairness to Google, mine doesn't work, and I'll show you why. But a lot of the things under Labs have not worked or lasted the duration. So it is an experimental stage. I mean, Google Buzz, Google Wave, you can probably name another dozen experiments that Google had under Labs that did not come to fruition. So what happens to me is I click on Author Stats, and it takes me out to the top level of a Google Webmaster Tools account. Now, in fairness to Google, this has got about 1,000 or so websites connected to it, this particular account. So if you've only got one or two websites, maybe that isn't going to happen. Or because it's something of a personal nature, maybe because of the Labs stuff, it's not showing you when you're at in a multi-site account. I don't know. But I'd love to get your feedback if you can see the stats, because we certainly can't. So it's just dropped me out here to the top level menu. It says 0 pages. Well, not really. It's just not giving me the relationship. It's not in at a site level. So this data is not real. Anyway, I want to talk to you today a little bit more about the new Google Insights for Search, or as you probably know it, Google Trends, which is how Google knows it. So this is the new Google Trends. In case you missed it, Google Insights for Search has now been merged with Google Trends. Google Insights for Search was always, for me, the advanced version of Google Trends. And it is the best keyword tool out there because it's real data. The combination of using, say, Google Trends now and also just your the prediction bar when you go and do a search, like if I put in here something like Obama. There we go. No, it's going to make a liar out of me. That's okay. Go over here. Let's just go to Google. So if you use a combination of Google Trends and we'll get to it. So let's just type in, I found there you go. I found a dead body. That's a popular search by people, okay? So, and there's all the rest of them. I use a combination of, say, Google Trends and this predictive text here. It's probably not called predictive text. You know what it's called. Anyway, to get an idea, because this will tell you what's popular in your area recently, right now. Google Trends does it for you over time. So here I've typed in Sandy, Hurricane, and Hurricane Sandy, and I've just separated the phrases with a comma. You then just go explore. And you can see there what the searches are. Now, this is since 2004. Now, what really jumps out at me there is that Hurricane isn't as big in 2012 as it was in 2004. And yet we're told this is the biggest thing of all time, if you believe the reports. But in 2004, there were more people searching the word hurricane for Hurricane Francis off the coast of Florida. There it goes. And this time, not so much. Now, this data is probably lagging by 24 hours, so we're not seeing real time. Google doesn't give us real time. So what am I saying here? Well, I think a lot of these sorts of real-time searches are going offline. We saw it with the Olympics. We saw it going more to mobile, for instance. I think for this sort of stuff, people are going to Twitter, or Google's data is really bad, or it doesn't work, or it's broken, because that should be spiking through the roof. And if you have a look here, if we just cross out the word hurricane, so we can see, there we go. So we know it's spiking. Now, I've just crossed out the word hurricane, because that takes out the whole spikes back here. So it gives us a better idea of what's going on currently, because these phrases, obviously, Sandy, a lot of people searching for Sandy over the years, but it gives you an idea here of the relationship between, say, Hurricane Sandy and Sandy. Now, we put hurricane back. Right, it's obviously going to drop down because the scale changes. But all I'm saying here is that the word hurricane is not being searched as much, according to Google, this could be wrong, as it was 8 years ago. So either the Google Trends tool isn't picking up the data as fast as it should, or people are going to things like Twitter, Facebook, social, those sorts of things, to find out about real-time events. So we just go down here, go Hurricane Sandy. This will tell us what countries are searching for it the most. Obviously, the United States. You can click on the United States there. And then, for some reason, it's saying right now, Utah is where the volume of searches... Oh, no, it's for the word Sandy. Who's Sandy in Utah? So if you go Hurricane Sandy, obviously, the eastern seaboard is searching more for Utah and Sandy. I don't know. The eastern seaboard is searching more for Hurricane Sandy. If we have a look at hurricane, we can see here that, and this, remember, this is over the 8-year period. So, obviously down here around New Orleans and those sorts of areas, Gulf of Mexico, they're going to be searching for that sort of stuff more often over the last 8 years. But Hurricane Sandy, right now, really big up here. You can then click into any of these areas. I've just got into Connecticut, and it just tells you a little bit more about, the locations of people and where they're searching. Now, how you can use this is some, for, say, a mobile AdWords campaign. That would be great. Because you could, and I would trust this more than I would trust the Google AdWords tool to give you some sort of prediction. Trust this. So you could drill down into Trumbull. And let's just say your product was hurricanes. You could say, look, I just want to target the people of Trumbull, and over a certain day of time, because they're the ones that are most interested in hurricanes. And you can get a really good idea from this data where to target things like AdWords, or where you should be ranking, or maybe you should be saying Hurricane Trumbull, Hurricanes Trumbull, or ranking for that in SEO. So it's a great tool to go and play with. So, sorry, we're talking about Sandy again, not hurricanes. We go hurricanes. Hartford, New York. Let's go to Hartford. So it keeps going back here to Sandy. That's better. It's a little bit buggy still. Sorry. It's not me, it's Google. So Cheshire. So they don't care about hurricanes in Trumbull. They care about Sandy. I don't know why. But you can drill down into any of these towns and just say in Google AdWords, I just want to target this particular town for this particular word. And, obviously, if you just want to get a trend over the course of a year, well, you just adjust the time frame past 12 months. Okay? And that gives you, you can see there, Hurricane Sandy, it's beating everything, because there are no other events that were as big in the last 12 months as Hurricane Sandy, that are either Sandy or just hurricane. So that gives you an idea of how to use Google Trends, and how you can use it for your AdWords campaign, say, and how you can use it even for your local SEO. If you're in one of these towns, you need to rank for those phrases. So you can put, I don't know how many phrases, you should be able to put up about 5. So just go and have a play with this, and you can, I think it's a better tool than the old Google Insights for search, because the mapping data is better and those sorts of things. You will also see where there are news-related items. They'll pop up along the graph, and you can look and to see whether the spike in traffic was maybe for a mainstream news story or something like that. But go and have a play with it. Let me know if you find it helpful, and let me know if your Google Authorship stats are working in labs in Webmaster Tools. Love to know. Thanks very much. We'll see you next week. Bye.